Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. Everybody here has dealt with kids. Every one of us. This should having been kids, which may be more applicable. But I've noticed if you observe any gathering of children, under the age of 12 especially, if you watch them and listen to them for just a few minutes, within a very short period of time, you will hear from at least one of them the cry, "Hey, that's not fair." It will come. Doesn't matter if it's a playground, school, classroom, at home, gathering brothers and sisters, soccer club, choir, I don't care what it is, before long you're going to hear, "Not fair." It's as if at some point in whatever the activity is, some child is convinced that justice is not being done. And so the outcry comes. So what triggers that outcry? What causes it to come forth? Say, for instance, going back to my history, you've got 4 kids at the house. They may not be your own kids. And it's after school and they're hungry for a snack. So I go to the cupboard and I get out the box of granola bars. And I begin handing out the granola bars. And I give the first 3 granola bars, and they're thrilled. And suddenly I discover the box is now empty. The 4th child feels left out and immediately cried out, "Not fair!" Thinking quickly, I remembered that we had some candy left from Halloween, and I went and got a Snickers bar, and I gave that 4th child a small Snickers bar. And the other 3 kids said, "Hey, not fair!" You know, it's like suddenly nothing you can do fulfills their sense of justice. And so frustrated, I sent them all outside to play. And all 4 of them said that was not fair. Because they wanted to be inside on my computer network playing the game Need for Speed. Their plan was to be inside playing video games, not outside playing in the yard. Because I required them to go outside, then all of a sudden it was once again not fair. I would make them go outside. And we hear "not fair" the first time because one child didn't get what the others got, so he thought he was being left out. It was unequal treatment in his eyes. Because of inequality, he cried out, "Not fair." So I gave that kid a candy bar. And the other 3 thought, "Okay, this kid's getting preferential treatment." And that's not fair. And then I sent them all outside. And they cried, "Not fair," because I was forcing them to do something they didn't want to do. Which, of course, was unjust on my part. They were being coerced to do something. That's one of the primary triggers of not fair in a child's life. It's not fair that you make me go take my bath first. How come he gets to wait? Not fair you make me go to bed at 7 o'clock. I want to watch a show, it's on at 9. It's all not fair. And these children, in these instances, don't realize that in every instance, everything was actually fair and just. There was nothing unfair or unjust about any of it. The problem is that these kids are working from an idea of justice or a sense of justice that's centered upon them. That's their whole concept of just and unjust. And because they do that, they don't understand, they cannot even begin to comprehend what justice truly is, what righteousness truly is. They have no clue. All they know is what they feel. They don't, and even cannot understand the concept of true justice. So guess what? We're no better. It doesn't get any better as they grow up. We're just less prone to the outcry in public. We still feel that way, though. We still feel the same way. And I use children in my example because it's very easy for us to identify with children making that kind of outburst. But this self-centered idea of justice and righteousness is the norm for our society. It truly is. It's where 99% of us plus live every day. That's where we live in our day-to-day life, with that concept and working a relationship with justice and righteousness. It's all based upon what I perceive that to be, especially as it is in relation to me, or as I project myself into a given situation. How would I feel about that? We probably all consider ourselves to be fair people. We probably try to be just people, according to how we understand that concept. But our concept, our working concept, is flawed because it's self-centered. So I want to ask and try to give some answer to two simple questions. First of all, what's justice? And secondly, how can we be just? Simple questions. So when we speak of justice, I would ask you, what is justice? What comes to mind immediately? Simple definitions of justice.
What's right is majority?
Majority rules. That's justice, certainly. That has to do with fairness or equality.
God's justice.
God's justice, what is that?
He's a just God.
What does that mean? It's a circuit, we can't go with a circuit definition.
He has the
So it has judgment and punishment, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, justice as judgment and punishment. How about justice as what's right? Or rightness? Or as we like to say in the church, righteousness is what's just. Those are our three main areas, in fact, in which we tend to look at justice. Those three areas. In terms of judgment, punishment, fairness and equality, and what is right, or versus what is wrong. The problem is that none of those are justice. Well, they're all part of it. They each have some piece of justice in them, but they are not in themselves justice or righteousness. They are not. And we're most often tempted to begin in our daily operative understanding of justice, to begin with the very concept, for instance, of justice being a case of getting what you deserve. Right? Good or bad. Getting what you deserve, that's justice. Problem is, that's judgment, not justice. What it really is. And this notion of justice is so widespread in our society, when we hear about justice in the news, it's almost always in the context of some criminal getting what he deserves, which is actually vengeance, not justice. I've seen justice in this light. I promise you that there is no more highly developed sense of justice in that manner, according to that definition, that you'll find in prison. Inmates have a very high sense of what they consider to be justice or injustice, or unjust. And people are always getting what somebody else thinks they deserve. And it's vengeance. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth is the law of prison, of inmate relationships. When there's some horrid crime, some horrid thing that happens, and we're emotionally struck by that, that desire for vengeance can be very strong. And we tend to put it in terms of, well, that's actually, I want justice. No, we don't. We want vengeance. In the name of the state, personal vengeance, we want vengeance. What we really want. Most of you have probably heard about or even seen the video of the handicapped young man who was tortured for 2 days and beaten in Chicago, where 4 others took him captive, held him for 2 days, and tortured and beat him over the course of 2 days. A heinous crime.
Did he die?
He did not die.
No.
The young man was mentally handicapped. And it was, police seem to think that the crime had ethnic overtones, that it was racially motivated in part, it was socially motivated in part, and it was politically motivated in part. all of which classify as hate crimes, and so it is. And you can't, I couldn't watch that without feeling outraged. And I refused to watch it again. When it came on, I would turn the channel, or turn the TV off. I wasn't going to watch it again. Because the emotional impact on me was tremendous. I have a niece whom I love dearly who has Down syndrome and has difficulty relating to other people. I've seen, I don't know how many posts on Facebook and on Tumblr and on Twitter of people calling for these four perpetrators to get what they deserve. And the descriptions of some of that are lurid and horrifying. Because there's an outcry for vengeance, not justice. Oh, they're all calling for justice, and they describe vengeance instead. Justice has to be more than getting what you deserve. If it was getting what we deserve, we're all dead. We're all dead. There's no hope for any of us if that's what justice is. And this is what God has sent his servant in verse 1. And 2 talks about sending his servant to bring about justice. If that's justice, I don't want it. No. The problem with justice as personal or social or societal vengeance is who decides. Who decides what is just? Who decides what the punishment is? Who's the judge? And I think, what if I had been there and seen that crime in progress? What would my reaction have been? There's a horrifying thought. I can only imagine what I might have done if I'd been given the opportunity to act at the height of my emotional outrage. What would you do in such a situation? It's a tough thing to think about. And I think we probably get a variety of responses. We actually look at that in that moment of emotional outrage. The question is, in all of this, who's right? Me? You? Which response is just? Which response is righteous? And that's the problem. We look at justice as the concept of getting what you deserve. Dear God, no. Somebody or someone has to work over and above individuals to determine what justice is. It has to be something beyond the individual. Or we sink into the pattern of behavior where everyone is doing right what is right in their own eyes. Which is exactly what the Messiah came to save us from. We can also say that justice is equal treatment for all. It's equality. Hear that a lot. Common concept of justice and righteousness. And certainly equal treatment for all rests at the heart. One of my favorite public speeches of all time. 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That speech, which has since been entitled, I Have a Dream. It's funny, Dr. King's dream was for freedom. And his speech mentioned freedom 21 times. But the crucial element of that freedom that he was calling for was equal treatment, equality for all, justice for all. Equal treatment. But he also wrote, the whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation till the bright day of justice emerges. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. He also said, I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I don't think anybody would probably argue with me that equality is a part of justice. It really is. Just as with judgment as justice, it's not enough. More is needed for justice to exist. Because what if the equal treatment is equally bad treatment? Would that be okay? Would that be justice? I don't think so. So say a society established a law, 1954, which says every couple may only have one child. This rules for everyone, regardless of their distinction, regardless of their societal status, regardless of their cultural status, regardless of their wealth. None of that matters. Only one child per couple. The law says that if a pregnancy is discovered after the first child is born, it is forced abortion that the law requires. If the child is born in secret, the law requires the baby to be killed, an infanticide. It is a requirement of the law. Applied equally, would that be justice? That was the law in China in 1954. Equality of application does not make a law just. Equal treatment or equality is certainly a part of justice, but it is not justice by itself. In both of those examples of judgment and equality of treatment and equality, there is a higher standard needed. Judgment is important, but then who decides what standard is to be used in the judging? Equality is important, but who decides to what standard is being held to be equal? Justice is judgment, it's also equality, it's also righteousness, however, because justice is also doing that which is right. Justice is doing the right thing. In fact, in the Hebrew scriptures and the Greek scriptures as well, those two concepts of justice and righteousness are so close together, so closely intertwined, that many times translators have trouble deciding which word do we use in the translation. And in one version you'll find it one way, in another version you'll find it another way. Justice and righteousness are very close together, and God can only be the ultimate arbiter of what is justice and what is right and what is wrong. That's why only God can truly establish justice. But to understand God's justice, true justice, we have to take righteousness into account. We have to consider that. Because without that, justice as judgment and equality is left hollow. You know, the passage from Isaiah doesn't mention him by name, but I know of no biblical scholar or theologian who does not agree that the servant mentioned in verse 1 and then talks about going forward doesn't agree that that in fact talking about Jesus the Messiah. And we read this verse, verse 1 and verses following, and we look at the gospel, it's very clear that the servant being mentioned here is all about one thing. That one thing is justice. That's what he came to establish. Justice. Verse 1 says he will bring forth justice to the nations. Verse 3, in faithfulness he will bring forth justice. Verse 4, he will not falter or be discouraged until he establishes justice on the earth. So I think in order to understand what justice really is, to look at what the servant did. We look at the life of Christ and what he did and what he said, what he brought about when he came. There we get an understanding and a glimpse of God's true justice. The servant in this passage was supposed to bring justice to those who deserve it. Okay? But God's justice, not merely judgment, not merely equality, not merely rightness, but all of those things together. So Jesus, the servant, goes beyond these common concept of justice. He goes beyond that, not only making sure that everybody gets what they deserve, but by taking that judgment upon himself, by taking that righteousness upon himself, by taking the punishment upon himself. He takes justice upon himself. That's what he does. He sacrifices himself, taking that which he did not deserve in order that we might have a chance before God. And what does the gospel do if not treat everybody equally? Every person has an equal chance before God through Jesus Christ. Doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a Gentile. In fact, even in the Old Testament it says here, the nations, the Gentiles, it says in Hebrew. And Paul writes in our New Testament lesson about God's salvation being for all people. Doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, doesn't matter what race you are, your social status, or anything else, the gospel tells us quite plainly that we are all sinners in need of saving, and only that salvation is through Jesus Christ. The one who took justice into and onto himself. If you want an example of the justice and righteousness of God, truly, you need to look no further than the life of Jesus Christ. God's justice and righteousness, you see, are always lived out in love. Justice and righteousness cannot exist apart from love. Without love, all you've got is equality, vengeance, judgment. And everyone has this justice in love available to them. Not a violent thing, a gentle thing. Notice how verse 2 and 3 address how this justice will be brought about. How it will come to be on this planet, on this earth. So he's going to bring justice in a manner that's so gentle that a bruised reed he will not break, and a faintly burning wick he will not quench. And the servant, you see in verse 4, in verse 1, in verse 4 it says, he will not give up until he succeeds in bringing true justice to the world. Which he did. Which he did. So what does that mean for you and I? Ultimately, isn't that the final question? What does that mean for us? How are you and I going to be a people who strive to bring about God's justice, who strive to live out our lives justly, in righteousness? I don't know about you, I can't do it. Not possible. I am incapable of living truly justly and righteously. I need Jesus Christ. Listen to the words of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. He has told you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. The justice we're called to do is the sacrificial love that Christ gave us an example of. It means to not only give people what they deserve for their behaviors, but when it's our prerogative or privilege to do so, to also give them what they deserve in a positive manner. To give them that which they deserve, following the example of our God, to give them, for instance, the benefit of the doubt. Doing justice means giving trust. Being a just person and living in righteousness means giving our most precious possessions to others, our time and our attention. Doing justice means loving sacrificially and giving unqualified forgiveness. This is justice. This is righteousness. To act justly means to judge a person's behavior rightly according to the Word of God while never condemning the person, which is not our place. It means we act justly when we strive to be people who treat everyone equally, no matter how difficult it seems to be. To act justly means to always do that which we know is right according to the Word of God, not according to what we might think or feel. But it's a bigger calling than any of us, I dare say, are capable of taking up. It's a bigger calling than any of us are capable of fulfilling. And that's why we all must look to the servant, the suffering servant, the Messiah. Because Jesus came to bring justice for everyone. He came to help those who take him seriously live a just and righteous life in the power of his name. And ultimately, to live justly, to live righteously, means nothing less than loving sacrificially. Because there's nothing else that's fair.